Happy New Year and welcome. I am Beth, your self-care specialist here at Divine Me Time, and I have a self-care energy report for 2024 for you. I'm going to share with you 7 of what I see to be the most important self-care practices to do in 2024 in order to surf the somewhat unsettling and constantly shifting energy that we're going to be experiencing. So first, I kind of want to go over 3 factors that are going to be part of determining what kind of a ride you have and how wild it will be. It could either end up being like an exciting roller coaster ride or more like a crash in the waves. So let me tell you what those 3 factors are, and then we'll go from there. So the first factor is whether you've done any shadow work, any healing around your traumas, and whether or not you're questioning some of your deepest held beliefs. If you are, you're going to be in better stead than many people. If you're not, this is going to be your priority in 2024, and it's going to be a challenge, but you can do it. The second thing that will be impacting your year is the karma that you carry. And this has to do with the attachments that you have, any aversions that you have, or what you are putting off or ignoring, and any way that you are in denial or ignoring information. That is also going to come into play. And the extent of your attachments and how deep they are is going to determine whether your year is easier or harder. The third factor that will come into play, though, is to the extent to which you recognize your true nature. And by that I mean that you are working towards, or maybe already there, developing a space between your personal sense of identity, the image, the ego, and your true nature. If you are developing that, then you're also in a slightly better situation than a lot of people. All right, so those 3 things are going to be kind of interweaving and playing together and determining how the year goes. But there are a lot of things you can do to ride those difficult times, and that's what I'm going to share with you in a moment. So first, I want to talk about change. So I'm sure you're all aware that there's a lot of earth changes happening, and weather-wise and like Schumann resonance-wise. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but I'm not going to go into that here. But Earth is changing. She's going through her own evolution. So try not to get too wrapped up in the interpretations of what's happening and whether it's good or bad. Just know that change is inevitable, change is always happening, and that it's part of our evolutionary process. Trust that whatever is happening for a reason, whether that's to wake us up to the things we're doing inefficiently or ineffectively or completely wrong, or whether it is meant to push us upward towards our power. So with all of that change, it really becomes important to exercise both courage and wherewithal. So be aware of your resources as an individual, and some of the practices that I'll share with you will be part of that kit. Another aspect of change is what is happening in our greater universe, particularly with our sun. Lots of energetic changes there that are greatly impacting the earth and all bioenergetic systems, such as our own bodies. And the reason I bring this up is it relates to our first practice, which is connecting with the sun. Now, this can be done very simply just by stepping outside, turning your face to the sun, and breathing in the light. We want to do that with some intention and ask the sun to help us evolve and to help us integrate all of the changes that are happening. But you can also take on more complicated rituals or practices related to the sun and working with the sun, such as yoga kriyas that salute the sun, or yogic mantras that are specifically geared towards worshiping the sun. And the other thing that you can do is offer your heart when you are breathing in the sunlight in exchange for what the sun is offering back. Okay, second practice that will be really important. And this, if you're already doing your healing work, shadow work, then this would be the next most important thing. Playing with energy. So if you don't already have like a Qigong practice or maybe a Reiki practice, then you're going to want to find some way to become more sensitive to energy. And if you're already practicing those things or something along those lines, that's great, but you really need to spend time honing and perfecting those skills. The reason being is that energy has implications for both our healing, individually and collectively, but also for protection of ourselves and others. And we need to be able to read the signs and feel the energies so that we know what to move towards and what to move away from. And like I said in the beginning, these energies are going to be shifting rather quickly. And the more on the ball we are, the more sensitive we are, the easier it will be to pick those things up, and we won't later regret a choice or a missed opportunity. Okay, the third practice that I recommend is to drink more pure water. And here, aside from your 8 to 12 glasses a day, the most important thing is how you're drinking it. So first of all, sip your water throughout your day so that your body can hydrate itself efficiently. If you're forgetting and then gulping at the end of the day, that's not necessarily going to do what it needs to do for your body. So if you can sip all your water throughout the day, that would be better. If you need to, you can add a little bit of Himalayan salt. I've heard this recommended. I actually don't do it myself because I feel like I get enough salt in my diet. But if you're feeling like you can't hydrate well, then you might try a pinch of salt, as long as you're not getting too much in your diet already. You can also charge your water with your intentions. You may be familiar with the work of Emoto. The idea that water is programmable. And you can look that up on the internet if you want to know more about his research. But basically, you can send a symbol, a quality like compassion or love or forgiveness to your water. And water will change its structure in accordance with that symbol. And he has shown this, Emoto has shown this with water crystals, and it's fascinating stuff. So use that tool, that power, to charge your water and then drink it. The other thing you can do is use like a flower of life. They make decals, and you can place your water jug or cup or mug on a decal, and that also will inform the water. So if you can afford a fancy water system, then go for it. What I do is I use 2 different filters, and I process all my drinking water through both filters and then drink it. So the first filter is just a regular grocery store filter, and then the second one is an alkaline filter. So between the two, they are removing more substances from the water, and I'm feeling pretty good about that system. Okay, the next practice is canta medicina. It's really about music and the importance of music, but the thing is that I'm not talking about your typical radio preferred rock and roll, whatever type of music. I'm talking about listening to music designed specifically for healing. And I don't necessarily even mean some of the new agey kind of environmental or ambient music. I'm talking about things with lyrics. And I usually don't recommend this, but I am this time, because the medicine songs of South America, the Icaros, and different mantras from traditions of various cultures, those are what are really helpful in 2024 to help those mental states that might prop up for us. And by listening to this beautiful heart-centered message of healing, we are reaffirming that and putting that into our field and our home and surroundings. It's really soothing and beautiful. I think 2024 is about opening our hearts, but not to an object or the personal. It's about opening the hearts to their universal capacity, and that goes back to true nature also. Okay, the next one is healing with others. Now, as I mentioned, playing with energy is important. So if you don't already have a practice with that, this could be a way that you also integrate, for instance, becoming initiated into Reiki or some other modality of healing. So we're entering an energy of collective healing. And by that, I mean those of us who are doing healing work or light work or starseed work or whatever you identify with. We need to be doing this more collectively. It's where 2 or more are gathered. There is a magnification of that morphic field and that energy. And that is going to be so helpful for those of us who are doing that work. And it's also time to just put aside the ego and, this any kind of competition among people who also are doing the work, and not, feeling you're better than or worse than, but coming together to create something bigger and more than you could possibly do alone. I offer a couple of opportunities to participate in something like this, and I will include some information in the links below. And that reminds me to say that this energy report for self-care is actually a blog on my website, and within the blog there are links to different resources, so you might want to check that out, and I'll put the link to the blog in the description. So number 6 is wrap yourself in color. I love color. I've always loved color, and I love playing with color. In 2024, this would be a great means of self-care, and you can do this by coloring in a coloring book or taking on a new art form. But it could also be as simple as just imagining color and breathing colors into your chakras, or even just being aware of the colors that you're wearing, or wrapping yourself in a blanket of a certain color that's feeling healing to you. I have identified 3 colors that are really important for 2024 that have a purifying effect. These include pure gold, a translucent pink, like if you could imagine rose quartz, or kunzite, which is a really translucent pink. It's beautiful, pale. And then electric blue, so really zingy blues, but a little deeper, not bright. They have purifying qualities that can help assist us in 2024. With the gold, I'll just share a little story of going to a small church. This was in the Pyrenees in the mountains, a beautiful church in a little village that had a gold altar and two huge angels on either side of the altar with these big gold wings, and then the painting of the clouds and God in the sky, all gold rimmed, just beautiful. I sat in there and meditated, and by the time I was done, I was just in a little bit of ecstasy and felt so different. And it was the gold. I got the hit that it was the gold color that was providing that connection. So this brings me to my next and last self-care measure, which is practicing ecstasy. So you may be wondering, how on earth do I practice ecstasy? My advice is to fake it until you make it. There's some entry points, though. You could start by reading the poetry of the ecstatics like Rumi or Hafiz or Rainer Maria Rilke. You can also read about the lives of ecstatic saints like Saint Teresa or the Indian saints. Anandamayi Ma is one possible example. And in fact, I often use her picture to enter meditation by engaging with her picture and feeling what she is transmitting in the photograph. I take on that posture and expression and then just practice the feeling of being open and in that transcendent, beautiful state. This may all seem like a really huge stretch, but if you just keep practicing and working on having a sense of devotion, something real will eventually unfold for you. And being able to access those states is really going to be helpful in the coming years when all of the challenges just become a little too much to deal with. So in closing, 2024 is all about becoming more sattvic in your life. So it's about what we choose to drink and eat, what we choose to do, and who we do it with. All of those things are so important now, to choose better, to choose more wisely, and to choose things that elevate our soul and spirit instead of things that bring us down. It's all energy, of course, and being sattvic is always the goal, but in this year and future years, it is more and more important to be able to ride the waves. So enjoy your ride, whatever it turns into this year, and turn to these 7 practices when you are feeling the need for more balance and more power. And know that I'm here to help you with your path as your self-care specialist. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.